Meph, you are a trooper. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I appreciate you helping me out on all these episodes by doing absolutely nothing. And that's all.
Eat shit.
That's always nice, for me. Well,
12 days of balls.
I'm going to lose it. If I'm putting all this time in, I want to be able to say it. The 12 days of balls. Nah, you ruined it. It lost its potency. Speaking of potency, this next guest is a very famous voice announcer on one of the most popular pinball podcasts out there, The Pinball Show, although his name eludes me.
On the 8th day of balls, pinball gave to me. I'm Craig, Bobbie, Buffalo, Pinball, Kevin, Shipping, David, Dennis, Kill, and Rachel Best. Dutch Pinball Podcast, Yoga, Triple Drain, one half of Meph, and the Shoeman, Zach Manning. I'm Craig, Bobbie.
Oh, good to know. Good to meet you, man. Well, I guess I've met you, but virtually. Good to see you in person. Well, camera. You know what I mean. Merry Christmas.
Exactly. Merry Christmas to you, Jason. This is awesome to be here. Really, really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks for coming on. I mean, this was short notice. This is ridiculous, and you are one of the 12 balls this year. How's that feel?
I'm so honored, and I actually, I decided to put some pants on today for this recording. Normally, I don't do that, but
right, yeah.
Today, I thought, let's go the extra mile here for Jason.
It's
kind of like our first podcast date. It's like our first date in a lot of ways,
Yeah. So next time, no pants, though.
Got it.
Right. I don't have pants, so, but hey, I'm the host. Why would I wear pants?
That's right.
What's new with you, man? I mean, the Pinball Show, you're for those who recognize your voice, you're on the Pinball Show a lot, doing the production updates, or no, what do they even call the segment anymore?
We call it our top stories news segment.
Right.
And basically, yeah, I sum up sort of the main hot topics of the week in the pinball industry, and then Zach and Dennis elaborate on those, and it's a continuation of what we started with Ken Cromwell and Bill Webb back in the Special Win Lit days. If any of the viewers remember that was all the way back in 2019. Boy, it seems like a long time ago, but before COVID, and then. That was sort of the show was kind of wrapping up as Ken was moving on to Jersey Jack and didn't have the time anymore to do that. And then Zach and Dennis kind of took that idea, and we sort of ported it over, changed the name up a little bit, and then we did have a number of correspondents as well back in Special Win Lit. There was about 4 or 5 of us.
I remember.
Covering each of the manufacturers. And then over time, it was just getting harder and harder, as COVID ended, with everybody to get their pieces in on time. And it was just starting to get a lot. So we just whittled it down, and I ended up being the last man standing.
Well, no offense to the others, but it's not a slight, but you do a fantastic job, man.
Oh, thanks. Well, it's taken a while. I mean, when I first did this with Ken and Bill, I was, if you go back and listen, and of course who would, but when I go back and listen, there was a shakiness there, and certainly after you've done them, for 3 or 4 years, you do start to get a little more proficient, and you start to, if you play and listen to yourself, I find, I learn a lot about how I sound, how I want to sound, how I project, just all that stuff. So over time, if you do things long enough, shockingly, you do start to get better at it. So, but I appreciate it.
I don't do that. I should listen to myself, because I've gotten comments that like, oh, you sound like an ass. Like, oh, okay. Maybe if I listen to myself, I'd pick that up, but I don't, and I won't. So deal with it. When you are giving away this gold on the Pinball Show, it's one of my favorite parts of the show. Of course, pinball, mega chains, all that. But you are so concise with your words, and this is what I picture. Please correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe don't, because this is what I like to picture. That you are like hidden at stern. JJP, or pick one. You're like a little monkey in the corner. You're covered up by like a pinball box, something like in like Metal Gear Solid, and you're just peeking out. You're just spying on everyone. How do you get all this info? Is that what's happening?
Well, you just have to keep your ears to the ground, and you're right. You have to be in the right place at the right time. Certainly, showing up. I wish I could show up to more of the in person, expos and pinball conventions, because a lot of stuff as people get together gets sort of bantered about, and not even through the employees, but just through word of mouth.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious talking to people and interacting with people, and that, as much as anything, has been the biggest bright spot, I think, in this hobby, is just interacting with so many of the listeners, and so many of the people out there, and people that build the games, and the designers and the owners and all that stuff. It's a fantastic community.
One of my favorite parts of when you're giving the top stories of the week is when you're saying a rumor about something that I know is not a rumor and it's totally true. And you'll say like, oh, maybe, and I'm like, and it's like, oh, you put that second or third, did you? Or sometimes you put it first, and that's my favorite part. But hey, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you get good too at weeding out what the bullshit is, and I've gotten good just because I've been listening for so long about when I hear something, and getting to know these companies, and getting to know what's could be real or is real versus people just making shit up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm about to make shit up for the next 15, 20 minutes. Feel free to do the same.
I'm good at that too, trust me.
All right. Since you haven't been on here before, there's a question I haven't been asking people, but I kind of want to know. What's your favorite pinball machine? Do you have one?
Well, you're looking at it right behind me there, Jason. It's Godzilla. I do think, and I've said this before on Joel's Flipping Out with Friends YouTube stream, which I'm on periodically as well with him and other guests. And I do believe in being in this hobby in earnest for almost 5 years. I don't have my 5-year badge yet, Jason. But
Sorry.
Obviously I've liked pinball since I was a kid, but only really been in the hobby for a solid, I'd say, 4 years. But I do believe, courtesy of Keith Elwin and the folks at Stern, that Godzilla, overall is the greatest game that has ever been made in pinball form. I know people will argue that all day long, and theme is a big part for everybody. But in my opinion, everything they've done with this game, from the layout to the code to the artwork, the whole kit and caboodle, when you put that up against all the other games that have come before it, and that have come since, I still think this is the greatest game that's been made so far. But not that there's not other fantastic games out there, and not that other people, don't have a strong opinion about that. But you can see it's right at the top of the Pinside Top 100 for what it's worth, and it's why they just continue to make the hell out of these, and probably will till the end of time.
I think we'll see what happens with the multi-toothed sea creature soon.
Elwin can do no wrong, so
What if it comes out and it's just dog shit? It's just like one of the worst, and we're all wrong, and he just like, as a meme, he just releases a dog shit game.
Well, even Bowie made some bad albums. I mean, shit,
It's true. Yeah. Well, that was made a couple years ago, but what in 2023 was your favorite pinball thing? Could be a game, could be Dennis Kriesel, could be a flipper mech.
There's two things, and they're kind of both the same, but I thought 2023 was a fantastic year for new releases. I was so two things happened. One, I was super skeptical about Barrels of Fun, which is a brand new company, for those that don't know, and with their new game Labyrinth. I was super skeptical about this game when they were first announcing it, and the marketing leading up to it I thought was horrific. So when I went to Expo, I was so shocked at how great this game was. It completely blew me away for a first effort from this company. So that was one thing that I was, extremely excited about, that this company's come from nowhere, and they've produced a game that I think is on par with any of the big hitters out there these days, including Stern. I mean, I think it's a fantastic effort from them. but the game of Expo, in my humble opinion, and again, I know theme wise people aren't gonna be excited about this, but I do think Elton John is a fantastic shooting game, and overall, to me that was the game of that Expo and of 2023. I just think
Yeah.
it's a fantastic game.
I think I haven't played it. I want to. It's always the price thing with JJP. I think if that was in line with the others, I think it would be much more in the contender to a lot of people. But it's, well, yeah. I mean, it's like beating a dead horse.
They're horrifically expensive, and I would agree with that. And pinball in general is horrifically expensive, frankly. If I might say, if I must say, but price aside, and we could argue that all day long about, I paid, $3,000 for my Lord of the Rings back in 1987, and like those aren't the days we live in. Trying buying a new car. I know you have recently too. It's a horror show of how much money they want you to spend. It is redonkulous. But anyway, all that being aside, I think it was a fantastic effort by Steve Ritchie. I think he put a lot of concerns to bed with this effort. I think theme wise, there's a lot to ask, for it. It wouldn't have been my first choice with Elton John. I'm sure it wasn't Steve's first choice, but he really made lemonade out of a lemon there. I mean, it is. I think it's a fantastic game. It was super fun to play. I wish I could have played it more in Expo. Everyone that played it had a great time on it. There's probably like we've talked about, or like some other podcasts have talked about, there's like one bad shot in the game. Oh well,
yeah. But what is the bad shot? Do you have a shot?
There's like a dead end. There's like a dead end shot up near the top, which I didn't really even notice. But now that we've it's been revealed, I kind of do notice it now. But that aside, it's just it's such a fun, well shooting, high flow game. I think it's fantastic with the sound effects and the lights and the artwork. Christopher Franchi did a bang up job, as he always does. Yep. So no, I thought it was a home run. If price wasn't an issue, I would be buying that game all day long.
Do you believe in aliens?
I absolutely do. Jason, I'm like, they've got to be fucking out there. They're fucking out there.
They are.
Yeah, no, I do. Like some of your other guests have said, the odds are that they're there. Now, what the intelligence level, that remains to be seen. And I'm not suggesting either that some of the things that we're witnessing, people are witnessing on Earth about aliens are necessarily true, because I do think there's a lot going on that we don't know about in terms of other government things going on that people don't want you to know about. Who knows, right? Yeah. So it's a real. I try not to go down those rabbit holes too much, but it would not shock me in less than 5 years if there's a press conference and it's the government saying, "Yep, aliens are here," and
here's Steve. This is his wife. They're both addicted to crack. They're exactly. Aliens and going down further that rabbit hole. Are you a ghost believer?
I love fucking ghosts too. Bring them on. Yeah, I'm a believer in all that shit. Again, I haven't really seen that much that would make me think, that there are ghosts but I'm a believer in the supernatural and all that shit. I'm a sucker for all that stuff.
That's awesome.
Without trying to get too, again, go down too many rabbit holes and get too obsessive about it. But yeah, I can believe it. But I do believe in all that stuff, and in spirituality and all that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is there a favorite monster of yours aside from Godzilla, like a Sasquatch or a Yeti or a Chupacabra or Loch Ness monster?
I like the name Sasquatch the best. I don't know if you remember, there was a show back in the late 70s or early 80s. It was called the Croft Super Show, and they had it was kind of like around the time of Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man, where Bigfoot was on that. Well, in the Croft Super Show, they had Bigfoot and Wild Boy, they called it, right? And as a kid, I fucking love that. These were like 10 or 15 minute episodes in an hour and a half kind of show where they had all these wacky characters and kind of mini episodes of these of the series, and you can find them all on YouTube, and they're hilarious to watch. They're so badly acted, but they're so like set like typical 70s kind of like it was a total play on the $6 Million Man with the slow motion stuff
Okay.
and the bad suit, guy running around. So
what's your favorite curse word? And please pronounce it clearly for the folk.
I'm a big fan of motherfucker, but I like putting curse words together with one another. Like, can you believe this motherfucking shit? And like, you got to raise your voice. I'm a big believer in like enunciation, or like if you have to say it, you can't just say, "Oh, motherfucker." Like,
right.
Like I really believe in kind of punching it up. My mom, God rest her soul, was the queen of the swear shock. So she would never swear at all, and then all of a sudden she'd throw out an F-bomb and just shock the shit out of everybody, like no one thought she could swear. And then sometimes she'd like just to like get attention, or just to see if you were awake, she'd throw in the F-bombs at you,
and it meant something more when she did it.
Yeah, I love swearing, I think, and that's one of the reasons why I love listening to your show too, because I think it's real. I think it's a great stress reliever, and I think it's hilarious. Like I love using it in humor. Whenever my dad got mad, he would be swearing like a truck driver, and it was the funniest fucking thing because he was so emphatic about it, and it was the more emphatic he got, the funnier it became. Mm-hmm. And so I've learned from all that and try and keep it funny and amusing, I think. So if you're going to swear, just make it amusing. And all of a sudden, people who don't like swearing all of a sudden might.
It brings us together. Would you mind sharing something about yourself that you're proud of, please?
Well, I'm proud of all the shows that we do, over on the Pinball Show. Not to toot our own horn over there, but what the fuck, we're the shilliest of shills at the Pinball Show. But I also believe that we do a great job over there, and so I'm very proud of the work that gets done. I wouldn't continue to do it if I wasn't. And certainly working with guys like Dennis and Zach, who are at the top of their game right now, are just fantastic and super supportive. They let me do whatever I want. It doesn't matter. Like I'll send them stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. They're like, it's fantastic. I'm like, let's do it. And so they're very open to ideas and what we're doing. So stay tuned is all I can say to the listeners, because we're going to try change. I like changing it up every year, and I think 2024 is kind of the year of change for me. So stay tuned. I don't know. I have no fucking clue what that means, by the way. But
I'm excited. All right. How much you bench?
Well, before COVID, I was benching probably about 180. That's my weight.
Nice.
I'm 5'11". So my goal when I was working out for a bunch of years before COVID was to be able to bench my weight, and so I was able to do that. And then COVID hit, and I literally have not been back to the gym since, Jason. I mean, at 500 pounds later,
yeah, you're taking up the whole screen. Can you, this timing is so good or bad, however you look at it, airing a pinball grievance in the spirit of Seinfeld's Festivus, we're airing a grievance. Do you have a pinball grievance?
I love this. I actually love this question. And my grievance, I'm not, beyond some of the other stuff that people have already said, I'm going to take my aim, though, at some of the pinball manufacturers. And my big grievance is with folks like American Pinball and Chicago Pinball. God damn it, guys. Step it the fuck up. And I love David Fix. I actually really like him. I met him at Expo this year again. I really like it. But the company itself frustrates the shit out of me, because these companies should be like I know they have slightly different feels from people like Stern, but I want them to be like kind of what Barrels of Fun did with us this year. I want them to produce a game where it's like, holy shit, this is amazing. And I still feel like American Pinball, for all that they've produced, still hasn't done that. We still haven't seen, I don't think, the best that company has to offer yet. I thought Galactic Tank Force could have been something, although again, this obsession with original themes fucking drives me insane as well. Like I can't Ugh, I can't. I just can't. I can't. So that's one of my
No.
grievances. Is like
Yep.
the people that are original themes can be great, but not in comparison to an established license that's done well. So
Yeah.
why go down that path in my mind?
Sure. What's on your Christmas list this year? What are you hoping to get from Santa Claus?
Well, I'm gonna really excite everybody with this one.
Okay.
I really want a high powered flashlight, Jason.
No shit. Like it's just your standard flashlight, or you got
Yeah,
something
so
special?
I've been doing like a handheld, but like that's super bright. So either for security or just like one of my big things as I get a little older here is I can't stand being in the fucking dark, especially when I'm trying to work or find shit, and I'm forever going to my phone but I want something big, like I want to light up the side of a house, but I want to
Yeah.
also be able to hold on to it or be able to put it in my pocket. So
Okay.
God damn it,
That's
Amazon is so
cool.
good that way. And so there are some, with LED technology, there are some super bright lights that are like a couple $100, but you can like, literally they'll blast, 600 yards or more. And it looks like, speaking of aliens, like there's a fucking flying saucer coming down on you.
Wow.
So anyway, that's what I'm getting for Christmas is a fucking.
So we'll see you coming from a mile away. There comes Craig Bobbie.
And the other thing I'm going to tell you what I want to before I get a heated vest. So I'm so tired of the cold now. I'm going to a
Same.
heated vest, dude, and it is going to be life
Oh.
changing for me. It is going to be I'm so fucking excited for those two things, light and heat.
When you get the vest, send me a Discord on how you like it.
Yes.
I want to know how that works out. What are you looking forward to the most in 2024 in the world of pinball?
Well, two things. The first thing is Keith Elwin's next thing, and it's been a while since we've seen anything from him because we got a little held up there with James Bond, and not everybody could get access or has had access to that game. But everything he touches is friggin' coming up gold for him. So I have no doubt. It doesn't even matter to me what the fucking theme is. It could be the Brady Bunch. It is going to be spectacular, whatever it is, and it's always an event when the greatest designer in the hobby today. And that's no offense to the other designers that are out there, because there are some fantastic new games that are coming out. But Keith, much like his pinball playing, has taken the design of these games to a whole new level. So when he puts his mind to something, like he's just on a different level. He's on a different level. So I'm super excited to see what he's going to come out with this year. I am fearful for my bank account for that reason as
Yes.
well, because it's almost a take my money or buy without even seeing it deal with him. But and of course the Pinball Expo, which is such a fun thing. Jason, you gotta come, dude, to the Pinball Expo. It's so fucking fun. You'll
I
love it.
know. I'll try. I was going to last year, and then stuff came up, and life happens. But yeah, I want to this year. Well, aside from doing the top stories on the Pinball Show and flipping out with friends with Joel a lot, what else you got going on in your world of pinball coming up soon?
That is it.
Just-
That's
okay.
fucking... No, it's like that's enough. And I wish I could do more. Like before the pandemic, I had a pinball show, what I called the midweek edition. So the idea behind that was there was so much stuff going on, and we all had so much time on our hands in retrospect, that we thought, why not have another show in the same week as the pinball show, just to keep on talking and get into more detail or go down different paths that Zach and Dennis couldn't go down. But it just got to be too much in terms of the amount of time that it takes. Even the 3 to 5 minute show I do right now takes me hours literally to write it. Like when you're talking about the words and stuff, because I fucking sit there and write the fucking shit out of this thing. So I'm thinking about every sentence. What am I going to say? What am I not going to say? How can I make this better? How can I make this funny? Like, so, it takes a way more time than you think it does to have it look. And I'm a perfectionist a little bit too. So it's like,
Sure.
I have a hard time releasing something where it sounds like shit. And when I was doing my own show too, I was spending so much fucking time editing because I can't stand something going out in the world that sounds like shit. You know what I mean? Or doesn't come across the way I hear it in my head.
Right.
And that just means a lot of editing, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for finally joining the Pinball Party and letting us get to know you a little more.
Jason, this is so fun. Thank you so much for having me on. This is so cool. And hey, let's do it again. Let's not stop here. Let's just...
All right, man. You asked for it. And until then, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I hope you get your flashlight and your vest. And we'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Jason. Talk to you soon. Merry Christmas.